So basically, this is going to be a sort of 15 minutes, 20 minutes little talk about portfolio preparation. So there's a couple of things, a couple of things that we need to do for portfolio. One is we always advise everyone to check the website and check that they're going for the appropriate course. So often that means, spending some time actually going through what's on offer, what's on offer, what's viable, what's different. So for example, foundation year with fine art is significantly different from undergrad, is significantly different from BA. So one of the things we would say is check the website to see that what you're actually applying for is appropriate. So for example, there's some MAs and MSCs in video game development. So they're slightly different. There's an MSc in video game enterprise. So again, that's just MSc. So the thing that you might want to look at, Lisa, is the portfolio part. I'm fairly sure most things would need a portfolio to demonstrate what they can do. So again, if someone's looking at fashion promotion, styling, or design, you look at them and you look at the requirements. Most websites will have some sort of checklist to say this is what we would expect for this particular course. So that's really kind of important. So there's key things in a portfolio that any student needs to demonstrate. So the first one is to be able to demonstrate their conceptual skills, show where their ideas come from, show what the processes might be. Really important. And I will show you some examples as we go through this in these different areas. The second one is appropriate research skills within their area of practice or within their kind of specialism. Really very important. The third one is levels of technical skills. Now, these will vary if someone's going for, say, an undergraduate program or a postgraduate. At undergrad, conceptual skills, they might not be fully developed. That's okay. Again, the same with the research and technical skills. At postgrad level, they're expected to be fairly embedded. The fourth one is iterations of process. So that is showing us the development of how things have worked. So these at a postgrad level, we're expecting students to be fairly secure conceptually, technically, research and iteratively. At an undergrad level, less so, because those are the skills that we will develop. So when someone's putting together a portfolio, they're obviously going for undergrad or postgrad. So this is a key point. If a student only submits, an applicant only submits finished work, it will probably be rejected, no matter how good it looks. It will probably be rejected. Worst case scenario is rejection. Second case, which is probable, they will be asked to provide evidence of process. So evidence of the first four things that I explained. So finished work on its own really doesn't tell us much. It just shows that someone or something has done it. So the thing about this is this could have been done on, I don't know, DALL-E or one of the kind of AI programs. We need to see all the processes involved that lead up to these finished pieces. So the first one we'll look for are conceptual skills. So you have to be able to talk about your ideas, where they come from, how they develop, and whether you do it in a sketchbook or whether you do it digitally, it's fine. Some students will come in and say, these are my areas that I'm interested in. And they may have, if a postgrad level at least, they will be expected to show this quite easily. At undergrad level, it may be basic, but there will be basic conceptual skills there. So what we're looking for are, your ideas, where do they come from? So this is an example of someone looking at composition as a conceptual skill. We're looking at where ideas might be. Rob Cart is there, I'll admit him. So what we're looking for here is that evidence of being able to say, these are my ideas, these are my concepts, this is where I get them from. Really important. It doesn't matter what area they're going into, people have to be able to demonstrate this. And there are many ways of doing it. So conceptual skills, hugely important. They'll be different for everyone. What's useful to do is, so for example, this is a sketchbook of someone showing what their conceptual skills are. And then on the left-hand elements, they've put in red what they've actually understood from developing these processes. Again, these will be different in undergrad and postgrad applications. But this is what we're looking for. Evidence of your ideas. They're going to be different for everyone in different disciplines, but concepts that will underpin some of the processes we're looking for. The second thing we're looking for is research skills. A lot of people seem to think that research is literally going through kind of research gate or going through papers or going through thesis. From a visual skills point of view and from an ADM point of view, it's much, much, much wider. So what we expect people to do is develop these skills. So for example, this is someone looking at how glitch art can be developed as an art form for graphic designers and a language to use in design. So they're just outlining what's possible. Again, in terms of research, we would expect to see applicants to say, who's the most appropriate practitioner? Who are you interested in? What are you looking at in terms of, for example, research books or artist books? We want to see what you're looking at. If you're looking at, minimalism, or you're looking at packaging design, or you're looking at, horology, you're going to show us evidence that you know something about the practitioners. So, for example, going to an exhibition, making notes on it, and asking questions about how you might apply some of the thinking processes is research. So it's really important. Watching a film is research. Whoops, sorry about this. Watching a film is research. Going to the cinema is research. Podcasts, TED Talks, books, music, everything that feeds into what you're doing is essentially research. Okay, so this is where it gets really important, where you're able to say, right, this is what I need to do. So research comes in different forms. Some people will sort of do a lot of written work. Some people choose to put in elements of things they've read and highlight the parts that say, now this is important. I need to be able to show, because when someone's portfolio is coming together, it's the first point of call before an interview, or sometimes the portfolio on its own is enough and sufficient to say, this applicant has these skills that we need. So research skills come in many forms, but what we want to know is you're informing the kind of portfolio reviewer that this is what you know at this point in time, and this is what you can do. So whether it's branding, whether it's the use of, advertising, it doesn't matter. We're actually looking for a lot of these things. Sorry about this, but there's things popping off in the background in my main technical skills. At undergrad level, we expect there might be some, but we're not looking for a huge amount. At postgrad level, we expect students to have had a whole series of things that they've done at undergrad and they can demonstrate. So this is an example of an illustrator using animation to talk about emotions and feelings and movement. So it's just a simple test, but we're expecting to see, again, someone looking at concepts, but in this case, how would projection mapping work as part of a performance that uses also animation and music? So again, this is where it gets interesting. Simple lighting design, we're expecting people to come on board and say, if I'm a photographer, for example, show me you understand the processes that are technical. So technical skills in many different forms we're looking for. If you're showing us how you make books and how you know how sequences and narrative works, in this case, this is a student looking at Chinese folding books. We want to see how some of this stuff works. The other thing that is useful, if you look at the left-hand image there, the students, the applicants, are showing process happening. So this is something you might want to advise specifically students, coming onto the program. If they can record their processes on their phone, or they make little videos, they're able to put that into a portfolio that allows us to see how they work. So that's kind of useful to do. The fourth one is this, iterations of the process. So this is an example of an illustrator using character design to show the different processes and stages before it gets to the final stages. So iterations of process, we want to see the mistakes. We want to see the rationales, the developments. We want to see the evaluations. We want to see that the applicant is able to sort of make this work. Now, whether they do it by stills or they record the processes and things like Procreate, that's fine, but we need to be able to see that these people can think. And if you can, this is interesting, if you can take us from the very first concept and idea all the way through one project to the end, doesn't matter how big or small it is, we're able to see how this works. That's just a really good piece of advice. One project from beginning to end, with all the mistakes, with all the evaluations, that's really useful. So iterations of process, they'll be different again for everybody, but we need to see how the applicant goes from beginning to end and the process is all the way through. I'd say that's essential If someone can show us how they do this, then it makes it easier for the reviewers of the portfolios to say automatically we can offer you a place, or we might not be sure we're going to go for an interview. Yeah, so these are the things that we're actually looking for. So what you're seeing here is evidence of people showing what they can do. So if someone only shows finished work, the worst case scenario is they will be rejected. Probably what will happen is, if it's a level sophisticated enough like these, for example, we'll be saying, right, we need more information. And through the application process, it just extends it by maybe 2 or 3 weeks. But you have to be aware that we will be asking for more than just finished work. This is something that happens fairly regularly. People sending in a portfolio that goes, this is finished, this is enough. I'm afraid it's not. We need to see the processes. So we're looking for these evidence things: concept skills, research skills, technical skills, iterations of process. Okay,